Happy All-Star Weekend, Suns fans. Obviously, it's Saturday. All-Star break is going on. A lot of fun festivities in store for us tonight on All-Star Saturday night. The All-Star game is tomorrow. And of course, as Phoenix Suns fans, we can't have nice things. We can't just sit around and enjoy the festivities. No, we have to worry about Chris Paul's right hand, don't we? I mean, why wouldn't we, right? Welcome to a Suns Jam Session Short. My name is John, a.k.a. Darth Voida on Twitter. Make sure you give me a follow there. You can follow the show at Suns Jam. And you can follow my podcasting partner, Matthew, at Matthew Lissy. He's currently unavailable, so I'm just going to run off this quick Jam Session Short by myself as we talk a little bit about Chris Paul's right hand. Obviously, he was ejected on Wednesday evening in a game against the Rockets, but really close prior to that ejection, the play before actually, Chris Paul was throwing an entry pass to DeAndre Ayton and slammed his right thumb into Jae'Sean Tate's forearm. Really painful, it appeared. I don't know if you've ever jammed a thumb, but it hurts like hell. So obviously, that interior pass led to his pain and frustration, got him ejected on a couple technical fouls from JT Orr, a guy who will always know and recognize as one of those vaunted and hated referees for just being a dick, walking into Chris Paul and then throwing him out for the game. Like, come on, man. He was already injured. He wasn't going to be playing the rest of the game, it appeared, So obviously it's been kind of a radio silence since that injury occurred on Wednesday. Thursday, we heard from John Gambadoro that Chris Paul would be flying back to Los Angeles to get an MRI on the hand. For those of you who've listened to the Old Man and the Three podcasts, we all know Chris Paul doesn't like full body MRIs. He has that claustrophobia thing going on. So you put him into one of those big MRI machines and he kind of freaks out a little bit. And, seeing as he's a player who has had multiple wrist and hand injuries throughout his career, he has a specialist in LA that's not probably too far from his house who doesn't involve a full body MRI. He's probably got a little mini MRI machine that he can stick his hand into and they can check it out. But that was Thursday, and here we are on Saturday, and we're finally starting to get some reports here and there relative to Chris Paul's health and whether or not he's going to be back for the start of the second half of the season, or will he be back and it's just kind of a minor sprain. The big one obviously being we're seeing him at the All-Star game in the festivities, and there's a picture taken by Dwayne Rankin. You can see on the right hand he's got a soft cast on his hand. He's out there, he's participating, but that right hand is down a lot. He's not actually participating, shoot around or throwing the ball around. CP is just out there enjoying the All-Star festivities. So again, Metal Mike, you're one of our elite jamsters in the chat, is spot on. He's like still confused on how he really is. It's just at this point, we're all just kind of hanging around trying to figure out. We're trying to read the code, if you will, because Chris Paul, Dwayne Rankin reported, he said, Chris Paul said the second he's able to play, he will. So Paul may take the court on Sunday, but it sounds as if he won't be playing for the Suns out of the break. That's obviously not the news that we want to hear as Phoenix Suns fans. Then Kellen Olson quoted Chris Paul by saying, "When I did feel that in my hand, I was mad for all types of reasons. Obviously, we aren't going to do anything dumb or stupid. I'm going to try to heal as quick as possible. The second that I'm able to play, I guarantee you I will be playing." Listen, I'm not a tea leaves reader. I'm not, call me Cleo. I'm not a psychic or anything, but I can kind of read between the lines on what Chris Paul's saying. And it doesn't sound like he's necessarily going to be back on the 24th. When the Suns play again, they play the Oklahoma City Thunder on the 24th. I don't know if Chris Paul's going to be back. If there was a better time of year to happen, I don't think there is one because of the break that we had. It's not like he hurt his hand on Wednesday and then they had a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday, and then there's a game on Tuesday. We literally have this week before we even had to play again. So that's good news, if you will, right? So there's a week of no plus or minus relative to games. I think the other side of this, and a quick thing I'll throw out there, if CP3 can't play, I wish he would announce it so we can get we can fly somebody real quick there for a replacement, get Mikal Bridges in the game or something. Something Matthew and I talked about at the end of our last podcast is if he can't play, who's going to replace him? And it'd be great if it was Mikal Bridges, but I think it's probably a little too late for that in the game. But kind of read between the lines. If CP3 is injured, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. And I feel weird saying that at this point of the season, but it's February. I mean, it's February. So, Ted Lubin in the chat says might be a good thing. Force CP3 to rest, be fresh for the playoffs, and make others step up. I think it's a very good observation, and it's kind of what I'm thinking. If this is something that is a nagging injury, you don't want a nagging injury. And, if this was the NBA Finals, I'm sure CP3 would play through it like he did last year. We saw him do it. I mean, he had less left wrist surgery once the playoffs were done. And again, there was no announcement from the team that he did that. It kind of leaked out. And there's been no announcement from the team thus far whether or not he has a significant hand damage or injury, or if it's just something that, it's a week maybe. And guess what? If it's a week, then he'll be playing on Thursday. So again, we're kind of in that I don't know area with Chris Paul. But again, I think that Iverson Vlog says it. Sit him until the middle of March or end. If he's okay, then bring him back then. Like, I'm kind of okay. Again, it feels weird to say that out loud. To say, listen, if CP3 is hurt, and I hope he isn't, obviously, but if he is, it's not the worst thing in the world. You have Devin Booker, who's an all-star, right? And who's making a bid at an NBA team, an all-NBA team. CP goes down, he's going to have to carry this team, but you're also going to allow other members of the Phoenix Suns to step up, right? Aaron Holiday, I know it's only been 3 days of Aaron Holiday, and yes, I wrote a fanboy piece on Bright Side of the Sun about him, how he's everything that Javon Carter wasn't, because again, we discussed that on the podcast. But the depth is somewhat there. Obviously, Cam Payne and Landry Shamet not being healthy is very hurtful for this team right now. But the buyout market's right around the corner, isn't it? Could there be players who could be interested in coming and playing for the Phoenix Suns, knowing that they can have an opportunity to contribute to this team over, a period of time in which Chris Paul could be out, whatever that time could be? We don't know. But again, it opens up a lot of possibilities. This team has a 6.5 game lead at the All-Star break too. There's only 3 other teams that have ever had a 6.5 lead over the entire NBA when it comes to records, not just in their conference, but over the entire NBA. And there's 3 of the Jordan-led Bulls teams. It's like Jordan, the Suns. So it's not like we're in the worst shape in the world to try to absorb this. Now, granted, I know what happens. If CP3 is out for any period of time, we start to lose a couple games, the walls of Jericho will come tumbling down, right? Everybody's going to be, we got to get him back now. We suck without him. And that might be true. But at the same time, we have somewhat of an easy schedule left. We have a very comfortable lead. And there's a possibility that this could benefit the Suns in the long run because CP3, if he's out at any period of time, would come back just in enough time to get healthy, to get back in the rhythm of the game, and to lead this team to the one thing that we all want more than anything in the world, and that's a championship. So again, I'm going worst case scenario thinking, obviously, because you have to in this situation. Best case scenario is, again, like I said, it's a mild sprain. No big deal. He's put a soft cast on it, just for looks, get a little attention, if you will. I don't know. And he'll be back in no time. And the Phoenix Suns' historic season that's on pace to win 70 or 67 games will continue. So, again, it's a very fluid situation. We don't know a lot. We just kind of know the breadcrumbs that Chris Paul has left us. And it's hard to read through the breadcrumbs. And, again, he's like, when I'm healthy, I'll play. Well, duh. When you're healthy, you'll play. Well, I would hope so. I mean, hell, this guy plays when he's unhealthy. So that doesn't tell me anything like that. But again, if this does happen, if Chris Paul is out any prolonged period of time, and I'll tell you this, the reason I want to do this jam session short is because we finally got some news on CP3, right? And based on that news, I can't come on here and be totally optimistic because it wasn't, again, news that I necessarily was excited to hear. I want to hear everything's okay. I'll be playing tomorrow. It's like Dwayne Rankin's tweet said. It's like he could play tomorrow, but it doesn't sound like he's saying that he's gonna play tomorrow. And if that's the case, then how long will he be out? We don't necessarily know. So, again, it will stay fluid. We'll continue to kind of pop on here and do jam session shorts throughout the week, knowing that our next game is next Thursday. So Matthew and I most likely will be on here after the All-Star game tomorrow. And then if any news breaks in the CP3 story, we'll be happy to come on here and talk it over with you, the Jamsters. Again, we always appreciate your support and willingness to come and hang out with us, whether it be post game or whether it be one of these jam session shorts where we talk about unfortunate things like a potential CP3 injury. But, I'll leave you with this message. If anything negative comes from this situation, and, by negative, I mean he's out for a prolonged period of time, don't panic. Be positive. This team is in great shape. As a friend once told me, you don't win championships in February. So, we got a long way to go, Suns fans. This is just the beginning. So, get healthy CP3, and hopefully we'll see you out there next week. But if not, Suns are in good hands. Again, the acquisition of Aaron Holiday helps with that guard depth. This will probably push up the timeline of Campaign and Landry Shamet. I was saying just the other day, with the acquisition of Aaron Holiday, you can let Campaign / Landry Shamet take as long as they want to get back. Well, if CP is out, you might have to take a little bit longer. So we'll see. It's all in God's hands. But best of luck to you, point God, and let's enjoy this All-Star weekend, okay? There's a lot of Phoenix Suns ties to this. Let's just sit back and try to enjoy it and not let anything relative to CP3 cloud the joy that we're about to have. Devin Booker, go out there and win the All-Star Game MVP. Cameron Johnson, I want you to win the three-point contest. Awkward. Go home and love your family.